Hey everybody, welcome back to the 6 round post-fight show with me, Zane Simon, and my co-host, as always, Eddie Mercado. Coming to y'all. Yeah.
Hey.
I always think you're doing a little golf clap at first. I always forget what it is you're doing every single goddamn time. I should never have told you to come up with an intro gimmick. I regret it to the end of my life. Anyway, we're coming to y'all from the end of UFC 311 at the Intuit Dome in Inglewood, California. A semi-full, quarter-full arena that showed up to watch this.
Fire card?
Yeah.
What?
They had all the smoke machines going for everything, too. I was like, surely these people have had enough smoke in their lives right now. You don't need to be pumping it into the arena.
It seemed like a cool arena, though. I'm glad they went through with it.
It is a cool arena. Definitely a great one of the few arenas that really makes the UFC look like it's somewhere different. Like
Yes.
You're watching that card, and you're like, oh, this is a cool arena. This is somewhere new.
For a second, I thought the crowd was doing the cell phone flashlights, but they weren't. It's just accent.
They had LEDs on, flickering LEDs on every empty seat, so that it looks full on a broadcast. Because they know you don't want to be you don't want your event looking like there aren't people there.
But I appreciate having the crowd. That's always a bonus.
Yeah, well, I mean, the crowd, they got up for it. They were loud. They were into it. The people that showed up made noise. It was a fun time. It was a fun card. Did not deliver early, but
no.
By the time the main event and the co-main event were there, it was pretty lively.
After all the fraud checks.
Yes. Ton of fraud checks. And then Yuri Prochazka and Jamal Hill lighting the place on fire. That was easily the fight of the night.
Yeah.
But we're coming to y'all straight after this on Makhachev's fourth title defense, a last-second fight against Renato Moicano made on 1 day's notice. And look, it happened. It made the audience happy. It made Makhachev some money. All that stuff. I still think it was pretty goofy that Makhachev was in a position where taking this fight even made sense at all.
What do you mean? Why?
I mean, like, he should be making the kind of money for a contracted title fight where it would make infinitely more sense to sit and be like, no. We're going to wait a couple months to have the big fight that we were supposed to have. I'm not going to put my title on the line for some dude on 1 day's notice.
I don't know. I don't think he's doing it for the money. And B, right, it's like a legacy thing. And B, like, he already cut the weight. Like,
see, that's bullshit too. Like, MMA has a serious problem if the idea is that, like, a champion has to the champion of the lightweight champion of the world needs to take this fight because he already cut the weight. Like,
not that he needs to, but if it were me, for myself, I'm like, I already put the work in. I'm fucking fighting.
I know, but you think if it was Floyd Mayweather out there and, like, his opponent on what, like, was like, oh no, I can't make the fight on 1 day's notice, and they're like, okay, we're gonna drag someone else in there.
Absolutely. Are you telling me Floyd wouldn't take an easier fight? You're out of your mind. You are out of your mind, Zane.
Ever.
Easier fight. It's an easier fight.
Boxers do not. You never see boxers take fights like this ever.
Moicano was an easier fight.
Yeah, it's not. It just doesn't happen. It doesn't happen in sports where fighters have any kind of say in what they do with their career. Like,
I think John Jones is the only guy I can think of that was like, you know what, fuck this.
And the UFC tried to burn him down for it.
But he stayed 10 toes down. He didn't let him bully him.
Yeah, I agree. Anyway,
but respect him to Islam for sticking through and taking the fight. It just pads his.
It is a cool for the fans thing to do. A lot of people showed up to watch him fight. They got to see him fight. It's cool.
And he's the pound for pound best in the world. Even Dana said so, right? And you know how he is on the D of John Jones, but you're pound for pound best. It shouldn't matter who you fight.
He must have had a bad conversation with John Jones recently for him to come.
Well, he's trying to get that the Aspinall deal done.
Yeah. You realize you gotta now that the Miocic fight is behind him and he doesn't need to blow that up anymore. Now he's got to twist John's arm to get this other fight made. So no more best pound for pound fighter in the world, John Jones. Anyway, as expected, Makhachev blew the doors off Moicano. There was that one scary moment in there where he maybe slipped.
It was a slip.
It was, at very least, it was a knocked off balance moment.
It was an explosive combination. I mean, Moicano, he came out banging. Like, he was ready to bang. Yeah. And I think he did the best he could have possibly done given his skill set and his tools. Because Moicano's MO has always been get the fight down to the ground. And that wasn't going to fucking happen.
No.
So for him to go out and just say, fuck it, and throw some hands, good on him.
Yep. Yeah, it was great. It was the best performance he could have given in the circumstances. And Makhachev, and it was fast. That's all I wanted. Because at this point, like, I knew this was not going to be a competitive fight. The last thing I want to see in the world is Islam just grinding on Moicano for like 3 rounds, turning this into like the RDA fight where I'm watching Moicano just get taken down for 5 rounds. And
honestly, it probably would have gone that way had Moicano not tried to scramble up to his feet, because he's the one that initiated that space.
Yeah.
And then, he dove in, and that's when that nasty-ass darce that Islam has with that pistol grip. Woo!
As Chad's saying, he wishes Moicano shouldn't have taken the bait. Like, it was 100% Islam being like, here's a little something. What are you going to do? You going to go for it? And boom, darce. Done.
Yeah, no, beautiful. Islam's that dude. Greatest lightweight of all time.
Yeah.
He has surpassed. Okay, well, let's go ahead and get this out of the way. Yes, he fought a featherweight twice. But
2 of his title defenses were on less than a week's notice.
But that's the GOAT. Like, the featherweight GOAT. So, I mean, whatever. But
I'm still going to rank Khabib over Makhachev for now.
Why?
Because I think he was a better fighter.
I don't think so at all. He might be a better grappler, but I don't think Khabib had the stand-up that Islam had.
No, he didn't have the stand-up. I just think he's a better fighter in general. Fighter overall.
Makhachev is more complete.
He's more complete. He's not as dominant to me.
That's fair. He hasn't been as dominant.
Yeah.
But he's been more well-rounded. And he's still finishing motherfuckers.
No, he's still great. I would like to see him get 1 or 2 more title fights. Really I want to see this Saryukin fight rematched.
I really hope this doesn't turn into
a Tony Ferguson situation.
Yeah. Even though they already fought.
That's the thing that's really bugging me with why I think it's stupid that the UFC and Islam booked this fight or took this fight instead. Where it's like, I mean, how hurt is Saryukin? It's,
Back injuries are weird.
They are. It could be that he's out for 6 months, in which case, take a fight. Get it done. Could be he's out 3 weeks. Could be whatever disc slipped goes back into place. He, put some icy hot on that son of a bitch. And he's back in it. And I don't, if we just miss out on that fight permanently, I'm going to be pissed. Because that is one of the best title fights the UFC can make.
Like you say that, right? But Makhachev took 0 damage in this fight. He could easily be rebooked ASAP.
But the UFC doesn't. They don't work that way. They're gonna if they're gonna rebook him, it's gonna be in 6 months.
Well, Ramadan's coming up too.
Yeah, or in fact, I say it's gonna be in 6 months. It's gonna be when they go back to Abu Dhabi. It's gonna be in 8 months. That's gonna be the next time he fights. It's a John Jones kind of situation where John Jones hurt his shoulder, and it's like, oh yeah, we had this fight in New York. We'll take him off the card, and John Jones is ready to fight again 6 months later. But we had to wait another year because it was only when the UFC goes back to MSG are they going to make that John Jones fight again.
Yeah, I mean, but the injury. We just don't know. We got to wait and see.
Yeah,
I mean, that might not even be his next fight. He might have some other rematch, or maybe he'll fight Ilia Topuria, or maybe, who knows? Maybe he'll move up. Well, no, he doesn't sound like he wants to move up.
No, he after this fight, he just he flat out said, "I'm keeping this belt is right here. Anybody who wants it, come and get it."
But he's becoming more accomplished than Khabib.
He is. Khabib did not stick around. So whatever Khabib's legacy is, it will always be curtailed because of his own willingness to retire, which honestly, full credit to him for doing that. Nobody exits on top. So
except for Floyd Mayweather.
And Khabib.
As in undefeated.
Yeah. But yeah, so this was this was as good as it could be for what it is. They definitely need to make Makhachev versus Tsarukyan 2 again. That is, I think, one of the absolute best title fights the UFC has in any division right now. It is the only super logical challenger at lightweight right now. And yeah, I think Makhachev will probably be totally fine waiting until, October to fight again. So
I'm fine with it too, honestly. Like, I'm not mad he fought tonight. I'm glad he fought tonight.
I'm glad he fought tonight in a I like seeing it kind of thing, but I do think it's just like MMA is really the sport that has no management. No other sport has
clown shoes, right?
Yeah, no other sport has absolutely zero career management the way MMA has no career management.
I mean, it's gladiators. It's you gotta accept it for what it is, Zane. This is prize fighting.
I know.
Every event's a cash grab.
Yes, it's true. All right. For Moicano, seeing some people say the loser of Hooker Gagey. But I mean, Moicano didn't really get hurt bad out there tonight.
Just his feelings.
Just his libertarian dreams of spreading the gospel. He didn't get a chance. He said, I got a lot to say, but this isn't the right place for it. He had a whole thing prepared.
Honestly, I'm fine if they rebook the Beneil Dariush fight, because I was really looking forward to that.
Although, I mean, I will say, Grant Dawson made a strong pitch for that fight.
Yeah, no, the fuck he didn't. That shit was boring.
Make the Dariush. He made a strong pitch to me verbally, not physically, verbally.
Sure.
But you could easily rebook the Dariush fight. Dariush is coming off 2 losses. Moicano losing this fight, it doesn't hurt the sense of that matchup. So yeah, just book Moicano versus Dariush again.
Yeah.
Hell, I mean, yeah, okay.
I don't see any reason not to.
No, yeah, just do that. I was going to try to find something else, but
now if Dawson came out and did something impressive tonight,
then Dawson's not going to come out and do anything impressive. He wouldn't be Grant Dawson.
He's done it like one. No, believe me, that was lame. Believe me, you're laying on a 40-year-old dude. Come on.
Save that for your OnlyFans, right?
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I rebooked the match. It's really intriguing for me because I think we'll actually get some crazy scrambles.
Yeah,
unlike just a steamrolling. So yeah, rebook it.
Yeah. All right. That brings us to a bantamweight fight. Merab Dvalishvili, Umar Nurmagomedov, and damn, this was a hell of a good title fight.
One of the best. One of the best. It was a banger. Well, not a banger, but it was fucking
It was just
high level.
great, elite, top level fight.
As good as it gets, honestly.
Yeah.
As good as it gets.
And I almost, honestly, I was kind of like watching that fifth round. I was like, is Merab just blowing this fight? Because, like, he was showboating and dancing around and feeling good and feeling himself. And Umar was exhausted and done, but he was still throwing. And he was landing the shots, and they weren't doing a lot of damage, but he was the one working. And then right at the end, Dvalishvili rocked him and took him down. It's like, okay, that is actually the most impressive offense of the round. But my God, you really put like this whole title fight into a 30-second moment of the fifth round. And
Yeah.
I don't think he realized that at all.
He was trying to fly a little close to the sun on some Icarus shit.
Yeah.
But a 49-46 is a little crazy to me.
Yeah, those first two rounds both should have gone to Umar. He clearly came out doing the best work early. I think the big thing was he was fighting a great fight to start. You know, he was Merab did come out with some good shots in the first round, which is the round that one judge gave him, but Umar was just cleaner, more consistent, and sharper on the counters. The problem really was, and this is, you know, this will be interesting to see if these two ever fight again, that Umar could not stop from fighting at Merab's pace. There was a couple of brief moments where he would counter Merab when Merab came in, and then jab him and kick him actively when Merab was out at range. And he really forced Merab onto the back foot. It was for like a minute at the end of round one and maybe a minute in round two. But most of the time, he was letting Merab crash the pocket before he started fighting him off really hard. And he was winning a lot of those moments inside. But by the end of that second round, you could see that he was losing the pace battle. He was winning. He was losing the pace war. He was winning the little battles and losing the broader war.
Yeah,
and
it's kind of a twofer. It was the pressure of Merab, but it was also Umar's willingness to play Merab's game.
Yeah.
Like, he had zero business shooting takedowns of his own.
Yeah.
Like maybe one or two just to get him thinking, but why the fuck are you trying to wrestle this guy? You need to command the octagon, stay at range, and pop your strikes.
Yep.
But he petered out.
No,
he also said he broke his hand in the first, and that sucks. But that has nothing to do with his gas tank.
No.
I think it was the takedowns, him trying to out wrestle Merab for no reason.
And just getting caught up in his pace. Like, you've got to stop. You've got to give Merab enough to do from the outside that it's difficult for him to pressure you all the time. If you're letting him pressure you all the time, letting him tangle you up, even if you're hitting him in the face a bunch, and Umar was, you're still going to be galloping around and on your back foot and forcing, shucking shots off and scrambling and all this other stuff that just, it's gonna kill you, man.
Oh, and it did. Yeah. Merab's a cardio machine.
There are a lot of really good athletes in MMA. It is rare that you see those athletes where you're like, this guy he is actually some kind of genetic freak. Hard work does not do this. Merab talks about, oh yeah, I work hard. It's like everybody works hard. You think Umar is taking days off with Khabib in his corner?
Yeah, exactly.
Like his coach is riding his ass every day of his damn life. Everybody works hard. Merab is something else.
It's definitely not EPO.
Hey, if he's doing EPO, then Umar can do EPO too.
Sure.
Let
But no,
him
that's like on some Lance Armstrong cardio.
Yeah.
He didn't seem in pain at all.
No, I mean,
at all.
After the fight, you've got Dvalishvili out there doing like hopping around, doing jumping jacks, talking about how like excited he is and how good he feels, and Umar's over there with like, I think I didn't lose. Maybe I need to watch. It's like, dude, you can't put two words together. You did not win this fight.
I mean, credit to Umar, he did more damage in the fight, but as far as the whole fight goes, Merab did more. He just did more.
He's scoring in every round as a single fight, and Merab wins 3-4-5. Umar wins 1 and 2.
Yeah.
And maybe this will be like a Henry Cejudo moment for Umar when he fought DJ the first time.
Oh yeah, I mean, Khabib's gonna go beat his ass backstage.
Yeah,
he's getting lashings, bro.
Yeah, you fight him here now, or you fight me later, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I just think this was a really well-made title fight. I know a lot of people thought it was too early for Umar, but he showed up. He put on a great fight. I really, the whole thing did come down to like 30 seconds in that 5th round for Dvalishvili to actually put some good offense together.
Strictly because of hubris, though.
Yeah, but that means Umar wasn't done trying. Like, he was not even gassed late in that fight. He didn't quit. He didn't give up.
For sure. For sure. He fought well tired. Especially defending the takedowns, getting back to his feet. Not easy to do.
Yeah.
Getting separation, not easy to do.
No.
But, he fought hard.
So
but I think he wasted so much energy trying to wrestle.
Yeah.
Instead of popping his jab out there. And it cost him.
Yeah. Give him a couple years. I mean, hell, it could be 1 year. He goes out and he beats one top contender, and Dvalishvili has one title defense in the meantime, and they could be right back in together. But
man, you know who Umar should fight?
Mm.
Davison Figueiredo.
Yeah, I mean, question is, who's Dvalishvili gonna fight next?
O'Malley again.
Yeah, you think that O'Malley won't have to go win another fight to make that happen?
No, he's too popular. Too popular.
Yeah.
Nobody else is really. I mean, you can't do Peter Yan, right?
Yeah. No, I mean, he called for Yan before, so they might do Yan. But Yan or O'Malley seem like the likely candidates, given that everybody else in the top 10 is coming off a loss right now.
Yeah, no kidding.
So Dvalishvili will defend his belt. Probably O'Malley makes the most sense. It's the biggest sale. And then, you could easily do Umar versus Figueiredo. That's a great fight. Cejudo is fighting Song Yadong, so you could do the winner of that versus Umar. Although they might be setting either of those guys up for a title shot if the UFC goes back to Macau or something, and they want to, do something like that. Or Cejudo's always gonna be a win or two away from fighting for a belt.
Yeah, but I mean, it looks like rematches, unless Sandhagen does something wild.
Yeah.
That's the only fresh blood other than Figueiredo.
Yeah. Do Dvalishvili O'Malley or Dvalishvili Yan. Figueiredo can fight Umar. That'd be fun as hell. And it's this is like, I feel like this was the fight where Dvalishvili winning this fight, maybe Umar gets back to the belt and wins it. Could happen. Like I say, I think this could be a Cejudo kind of situation, potentially. But if that doesn't happen, Dvalishvili is in a place to keep that bantamweight title for quite a while.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's this close to lapping the division.
Yeah. or like the guys that he hasn't fought before. He's just not going to fight now. Like Sandhagen is not going to get a title shot with the talent surrounding the top of that division. And
no, the only way that could happen, I think, like I said, if he does something crazy, like some crazy, he starches someone, just puts up a knockout of the year candidate, something incredible.
Yeah.
Or if he can like start a beef, you know what I mean? Which he's not going to do.
And Figueiredo needs to win a couple fights, and Vera hasn't fought Dvalishvili, but he's another guy where it's just like he's not going to get another title shot. That title shot he got against O'Malley was pretty suspect. The chances of Marlon Vera fighting his way to the belts.
I'll tell you what, though, for someone spamming takedowns, it was pretty fun.
Yeah.
This is one of his more fun performances.
No, this was fun because there was somebody who could really compete with him. Somebody that he could compete with him, not just in the I don't get taken down, because Jose Aldo and Petr Yan didn't get taken down.
Yeah.
But I can fight off the takedown. I can make you have to reset back in space and go through all the steps again.
Yeah.
And that makes it fun. Like, then you get to see Dvalishvili actually having to motor and not just idle, You get to see.
And he had to recover. He got rocked early in that fight.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, somebody else mentioning Wild that Cejudo is fighting again, and somebody else wondering here, maybe he has money problems. I will say Cejudo is one of those fighters that I think the only time he actually likes fighting is when he is separated enough from it to feel like a challenge again.
It's an ego thing.
Yeah, like when he had the title, he was ready to quit right away. It's just like, oh, I don't want to. I'm the best now. I don't want to do this. I don't need to be the best anymore. All the fun for him is in the battle. Actually,
Merab said the R word tonight too.
He did. He's not gonna. That man will never stop working. I cannot imagine Merab Dvalishvili waking up one day and being like, I don't want to train today.
Well, I'm sure he'll be a lifelong trainer.
Yeah.
Whether he fights or not, but
yeah, I don't think he's going to stop anytime soon. I don't.
Man, Aljo losing the belt was the best thing that ever happened to Merab.
Yeah, he was. Aljo was keeping it warm for him.
Yeah, great fight though. Fantastic high-level fight.
Yeah. Honestly, I really wish we'd gotten that Tsarukyan Makhachev fight, because I feel like those two back-to-back, they were perfect title fights.
Yeah.
Oh, well. All right, that brings us to the people's main event, Yuri Prochazka, Jamal Hill. And I know it's petty of me, but God, I wanted to see Jamal Hill lose this fight.
What did he do to you?
No, he's just so annoying.
All the excuses and
the constant,
anti-Riz,
all the personal feelings of injury that he carries around, all the wounded soul that he carries around with him at all times, the chip on his shoulder that is big enough to crush any normal man. And Yuri is just the most like. Both these dudes do a ton of stuff that is dumb as hell. But Yuri is the kind of dumb stuff where you're like, I am so endeared to you. You seem like you're having the most fun out there possible. And Jamal is just all struggle. It's just all like...
It's cringe.
It's cringe.
Yuri's a different cringe.
It's a different cringe.
It's like a lighthearted, like Disney kind of cringe. You know what I mean? It's like, it's fun to watch.
I want to go drinking with Yuri Prochazka. I'm afraid of I'm afraid of having Jamal Hill drunk around me.
Sure. Yes. Yeah. Although Yuri will probably, you'll be doing some weird stuff.
No, yeah. Yuri's going to pull me out into the woods and like make me jump off a cliff into a waterfall.
Yeah.
But Jamal Hill's going to start texting exes and
No, I totally get what you mean. And what's crazy is I almost picked Hill here. I was this close to picking him. But I just had this gut feeling. I was like, nah, I don't think he's technical enough to capitalize on the unorthodox, style of Yuri.
Hill had one of the all-time least impressive runs to a title to winning a title that anyone has ever had. Like, he got his title shot off of beating Johnny Walker, and a Thiago Santos that the UFC immediately cut and sent to the PFL.
No, since like the old days. In the modern era, it's one of the weaker.
Yeah, to beat a 50-year-old Glover Teixeira.
Who almost beat Yuri.
Yeah, no, Glover is, it's not nothing. But Hill he's sloppy in a way that it should not, it is not a championship level fight that he puts together. Yuri has his own weird thing that he's tracked into, but it is a system.
Khabib didn't have that good of a lead up to the title either. I'm gonna just throw that out there.
Yeah, but Khabib was actually a really good fighter. You ever see that video of Jamal Hill's footwork?
Yeah.
Where it's just 30 seconds of him crossing his feet and bringing them together and
No, that's day one. And that's what I mean. He's not technical enough to capitalize on all the openings.
Yeah. And that really showed up here. I mean, he landed 20% of his shots or something.
And honestly, you have to credit Yuri's unorthodox movement. He was really using his head movement, throwing so many outputs out there to Hill to make him just over process what's going on. And then he would just change direction and dart in with a hard cross and it would rock him.
Yep.
I mean, he was pulling a page out of Machida's book out there.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, Prochazka fights he's read he has spent 6 months reading a karate manual that he dug up in a basement. It's 20 years old. And he's all about here's my horse stance. And then you got to have your arms like this. Yeah. But he's done the movement. He's practiced it. It's a system. It's just a really weird system.
And honestly, it wouldn't work in any other division.
No. Light heavyweight is the place for it.
Yeah. But on the same token, neither would Hill's.
No.
This guy wouldn't work anywhere else either.
You got to credit Hill because one thing he did show in this fight is that it may be one of the weakest runs to the title in history, but it wasn't a fluke either. He is huge and fast and powerful. And what showed up here is he's also really good at taking advantage of the opportunities when he does get them. When Prochazka would tie up with him or get in close or eat one shot, Hill was right there with an uppercut or a collar tie shot, following up with 2 or 3 shots, a knee. He was always ready to have something else really well placed.
He saw the eyeball there and was like, boop.
Yes, that's right.
That almost changed the complexion of this fight.
Yeah.
That almost became a turning point.
Might have made Yuri mad. You never know.
It definitely pissed him off.
Yeah.
It definitely pissed him off. But another thing that Hill did really well was his body work. Those punches to the body, phenomenal. Genius move. Slow Yuri down. The further the fight goes, the less reflexive he's going to be. I mean, solid game plan. He was listening to his coaches, but just the style versus style.
Kept his hands up a little bit, as he said in the post-fight. He's like, I'll keep my hands up a little.
A little. No, he didn't.
He did.
No, he said that, but he
he said no, he didn't. No,
yeah. No, I mean, Yuri fought a great fucking fight and caught Hill overextending.
Yep.
And blasted him.
Yeah. Great fight. A lot of fun. Heart was in my throat all fight for this.
Dude, I was nervous the whole time. My hands were sweating.
Yes. Oh my God. One of these men is about to die, and it's because they're going to do something really, really foolish in front of this other incredibly powerful man.
There was a moment in the third where I was like, man, I kind of wish this was 5 rounds.
Yeah.
But then it was over.
Yeah. Beautiful fight. Beautiful finish. Great win for Prochazka. Love it. Love having him back in the title hunt. I don't even care if he never fights Alex Pereira for a third time, because that is just a terrible stylistic.
That's funny because I do. So they announced Ankalaev and Poatan UFC 313 on March 8th. Yep. Co-main Gaethje and Hooker. That's going to be bananas.
That is going to. I mean, I hope Dan Hooker's family has a nice plot picked out for him, because.
I mean, let's not write him off yet. I'm sure he'll remember him in Poirier. That was a fucking banger.
It was. Hooker is always down to bang. He is always capable. He's always there to have a thrill. I just think the Gaethje is a murderous matchup for him.
Yeah. Well, that's fair.
Yeah.
But anyways, I say let's fucking ditch Ankalaev, put him back on the shelf.
Of course you do.
And put Yuri in there.
Of course you do.
That's way more fun.
They're not going to do it.
I know they're not, but that's what I would want to see.
Yeah. You know what? I get it. I've been an Ankalaev believer for long. I've been an Ankalaev believer for so long that it really does give me deep dissatisfaction to realize that I just don't care about his fights that much anymore.
Oh, he's boring.
He is. I hate to say it.
And that's okay. But he's in the wrong division to be boring.
Yeah, he is.
That's the problem. So I say remove him. Put Yuri in there. And let's call it good.
As Adin, I don't know how to pronounce that. I'm just going to go with Adin. Suggests the more likely option is probably the winner of Blachowicz Olberg. We're fighting in the next couple months.
Hold on, Rossman. I saw you mention Mario Bautista in the comments section. You're on my list now.
And I would absolutely vote for my boy Nicky Thrills to be in there as well, but I don't actually know when Nicky's going to fight again. He was supposed to fight Mirzakhanov in November, and Mirzakhanov pulled out of that fight, and we haven't heard shit about Krylov since. So I would love Krylov versus Prochazka. Honestly, that is the fight that I want to see. If I'm going to book one thing out there for Nikita Krylov or for Yuri Prochazka, it's not a title fight. I want it to be Nikita Krylov.
I would say that. I also want to see him fight Khalil Roundtree, but I also want to see Khalil fight Jamal Hill.
Yeah, that's fair. Khalil, with any top 10 fighter right now, you can do. There's nothing I don't want to see Khalil Roundtree in. But
him and Yuri, though, oof.
Yeah, that would be a lot of fun. They should actually do that. You're right. Prochazka doesn't make sense with Khalil coming off a loss, but he's coming off a title fight loss. That was a great title fight. Ton of fun. So it'd be a fitting reward for him to fight Yuri. All right. That brings us to a heavyweight bout. Jailton Almeida, Sergey Spivak. And it almost looked for a minute like Sergey had the secret sauce, that he had this one figured out.
Yeah, maybe.
He hit that hip toss. He got on top. He did some damage. He got swept, and then he swept Almeida back. Well,
they were reversals, but yeah.
Yeah.
Almeida hit the sweeps.
Yeah, Almeida.
Spivak hit the reversals.
Yeah.
But be that as it may, how about the fucking heavyweight grappling? Look at these guys.
Yeah. Actual heavyweight grappling. Back takes where the guy doesn't just fall off because his opponent is too fat for him to stay there. You get hooks in. This is always Roy Nelson's secret. You're not getting hooks in on Roy Nelson.
No, the belly's there.
Yeah.
But this was way more fun than it should have been.
Yeah, it was
way
super
more
fun.
fun than it looked on paper.
Yeah. And then Almeida finally, he must have made his father so proud because he finally threw a punch in an MMA fight. And God, this man needs to do that more often.
He was doing that at light heavyweight.
Yeah, he hasn't had the confidence to do it at heavyweight at all. And this is really the first time that he's opened up with any sustained striking offense. And it changed the bout totally because then Spivak, by that time, Spivak was so focused on the grappling that, he wasn't ready.
Which, from the start, that was his deal. He had no plan, it seemed, to strike with Almeida whatsoever. Because he doesn't, that's not his thing.
No, it's not.
He's a top grinder.
And he knew too that if he didn't go and he didn't try to take Almeida down first, he was just going to get himself taken down. He's not a good enough defensive wrestler and doesn't have the footwork to keep any space, So
which is why I don't fault him for trying to grapple Almeida.
No.
It's heavyweight. Lay on the fucker.
It succeeded for a minute.
Yeah.
But
jiu-jitsu.
Now if only there was a fight for Almeida out there.
That first sweep he hit was ridiculous.
Yeah.
That was ridiculous.
I guess he did call out Cyril Gahn.
Yeah, but he also said he would settle for Tom Aspinall. Cyril Gahn's an interesting fight.
Yeah, they should get that. They should make that Gahn fight happen, honestly. Especially as a punishment for that robbery he got over Volkov.
Right.
But yeah, Almeida Volkov, Almeida Gahn, those are both solid matchups. Do whichever they can get booked, and I'm happy. So that makes sense.
You think Gahn's gonna drop back for a heel hook against Almeida?
I would love to see it. Love to see it. Hope so. Otherwise, for Spivak, I don't know. Let's see. You could do. Spivak Lewis, I guess. He already beat Derek Lewis. That's right. I forgot. It's not really a good fight up here. I guess if you can do Almeida Gahn, then you do Spivak Volkov, I guess. But that also seems like Volkov would murder Spivak to me.
I'd still be down to see it. I'm okay with him getting murdered.
Yeah. Got somebody here saying Spivak Gaziv Adin. And
he's already fought Derek Lewis.
Yeah, I know. He said Gaziv, though.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, I guess. But Gaziv is also set to fight somebody named Thomas Peterson, which, I don't know. There's nobody. Spivak's just going to fight whatever, really. Whatever's around. All right, that brings us to a middleweight bout. Reiner de Ritter against Kevin Holland. And I fucking knew it, man. Fucking knew it. Going into this fight, I was like, you know what Holland's going to do? He's going to let de Ritter grapple with him and take him down right away. And that's going to be the fight.
Did you pick RDR?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
I was super confident. Mostly because Holland, A, untrustworthy, B, sketchy takedown defense, and C, he's a tweener, right?
Yeah.
He floats between 170 and 185 going against a true grappler and a true 185er.
Who has been a light heavyweight for, in fact, most of his career. The middleweight part of de Ritter's career is very recent and brief.
Yeah, I felt really good about this. And, man, Grant Dawson needs to train with RDR.
Yeah.
Because the way RDR, he got his takedown and he didn't just hang out.
No.
He stacked Holland and was dropping
Yeah.
all sorts of ground and pound straights. It was beautiful. Like, that's how you work somebody over. And my God, does he have some of the sneakiest illegal knees I've ever seen? He's like passing guard, dropping the knee on the face. Like, ooh,
Love
that's some
it.
sneaky shit.
I love it. Honestly, I love when fighters build stuff like that into their game. Like, if the refs in MMA are super lax. If you're not creating little stuff, if you're not like looking to for where you can bend those rules, what are you doing? You know, like, this is a sport of guidelines.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. And I loved how he jumped on the back, but only had one hook in and was about to lose it, and then used the Kimura lock to roll Holland.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. That was
Great
beautiful.
stuff from him. Yeah, this is one of those fights too, though, going out. I was like, Holland really, like, De Ridder's, his kickboxing is so terrible that if Holland does just outfight and, like, stay a little bit elusive, the path to victory is right there, but there's no way. There's no way. He just...
Two sus takedown defense. He got choked on the chicken logo. Did you see that?
Yeah. It's I'm glad it's a goofy game, but it is a unique one, and I'm glad that the UFC got De Ridder to put him in here into the mix of the middleweight top 15. We need more. We need to mix it up more at middleweight,
I think he should fight the winner of Fluffy and Brendan Allen.
Sure. Fluffy Brendan Allen.
Or Roman Dolidze.
Jack Hermanson, Roman Dolidze.
I'm never excited for a Hermanson fight, ever.
I know. But they're all fights that would be really good and competitive for him.
Dolidze's
Dolidze's unbooked right now, so do Dolidze, because Dolidze's another huge middleweight who has zero ability to keep a fight at distance. He just falls face first into the pocket every time he throws a punch.
And he's got some wicked jiu-jitsu.
They are going to grapple. And Dolidze has, he's got some wicked jiu-jitsu. He's big. He's strong. He's not going to get bullied. That'll be fun. Yeah. It's one of the few fun fights out there for Dolidze, because Dolidze, if Hermanson's a guy you don't want to see in fights, Dolidze's a dude that I'm always just like, don't book him for anything, please.
He's fun sometimes.
He was fun that one time he killed Jack Hermanson. And every other time, it is zero fun. But, so really solid fight for De Ridder. And for Holland, I mean, he's keeping himself in sneaker money. I think that's really his only goal at this point.
And cowboy hats.
Yeah, cowboy hats and sneaker money.
No, there's a perfect fight, though, for Kevin Holland.
Yeah?
Quentin Rampage Jackson.
Over in Fight Circus?
Did you see them beefing?
No.
You didn't?
No.
Oh, they were on the Jackson podcast together, and no reason to have beef whatsoever. I think it started when Holland fought MVP, and they did the, MVP does his thing, and then Holland went over top of him.
Yeah.
Rampage made a remark, and so they're finally face to face, and Holland was just going at him, and like they were about to fight right there. This was recent.
I didn't see it. No.
Yeah, so I'm all down for that shit show.
Totally.
Fight circus all day.
So, otherwise, let me see. Let me actually look at the UFC roster here. While my dog hacks up her lung. UFC middleweights.
Or welterweights.
He's not going back to welterweight. He wants to smoke weed and
eat
not
Skittles. Kill himself.
Yeah. Let's see. You do who's an unserious middleweight. It can't be somebody who actually likes fighting. That doesn't make sense.
Sarah Bullet would be great. I know he's fighting in
Yeah. Well, you know what? I mean, he's probably still actually pretty highly ranked right now. Yeah, he is. But I kind of feel like they should do Holland versus Paulo Costa.
Yeah.
If you're looking for somebody else who does not actually do anything like take the sport seriously enough to ever be trusted, that's the ultimate showdown right there.
No, that's fun. That's a lot of fun.
Otherwise, you could do Holland Curtis. You know, Curtis is in a bit of a spot these days off a couple losses, but
I like that. That would be a banger.
That would be a banger. All right. That gets us to a bantamweight fight.
A bantamweight fraud check.
Barcelos, Talbott, and...
Peyton's not a fraud.
He's not a fraud.
He's not a fraud.
Barcelos came out with 100% of that old man strength. And he took advantage of a problem that Talbott has had in a lot of fights and that nobody's really been able to make him pay for because he's fighting other rookies that don't know what to do with the lead when they get it.
Yeah.
And this time he got somebody that was willing to take him down and wrap him up for his early lazy defense and then just stay out ahead of him.
Yeah,
you know?
This was his first salty dog veteran that he's ever faced. The most experienced guy, a guy with a solid game plan. He knows what he wants to do. He has an edge somewhere, and he sticks to it. And he big brothered him.
Yeah, you know, it's somebody too at his height. Like Barcelos at his very best was like a top 5 level athlete. Maybe not the most, depth. He didn't have the most depth training to his game, but we're talking speed and power and durability. He was way up there at his very best. And now, so like even an older faded version of him, it was that you're still talking somebody who is miles beyond the likes of Cameron Simon and Giannis Gimuri and Nick Aguirre for raw physicality. Just a different kind of beast when it comes to the strength and power. And Talbott's had this thing. I think it's one of these things where, on the one hand, you've got to admire confidence. Confidence is good. And you want a fighter like Talbott to be confident that he can beat anybody. At the same time, I think Talbott, he does kind of seem like he approaches fights with the idea that his opponent cannot possibly beat him. Just is not good enough.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a different thing. It's just like, I don't have to pay attention to what you're doing because what I'm doing is going to beat you.
It's like a growing pain.
Yeah.
But I will say this. He clearly lost this fight, right?
Yeah.
Like every round.
Yeah, I thought he did more damage in round 2, so I'd be willing to give him round 2. But I
actually did give him round 2.
Yeah, he certainly lost round 1, and he really lost round 3.
But on the scorecards, he even got 26th by one judge. But I will say, for all those bad positions, he found a way out.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
he kept working, didn't get strangled. So there's promise there. This is a growing pain. This is a hard lesson.
At the same time that he's a kid who doesn't think he can be beaten, he's also clearly somebody that doesn't know how to lose. He doesn't get to a point where it's like, this fight's going against me.
Yeah.
I'm going to give up.
No, he wasn't broken.
No.
But on the same token, he's throwing flying knees and getting taken down.
Yeah.
So there's some maturation that needs to happen there.
He just went and he treated Barcelos like a guy who couldn't beat him. Like, I can go do something silly. And if you get a good position, I'm going to win. I don't care.
Yeah.
It's like, there are fighters where you can't do that. You can't afford it. And this is the way to learn it. It's a great growing process fight. Talbott is still the real deal. This is a lesson he clearly needed to learn. And I didn't think he learned it in this fight. And I hated to even say that because Barcelos he has been the most underrated fighter in the UFC. If you'd asked 5 years ago, before he had some of his right around the time that he had that really bullshit loss that he shouldn't have lost to Timur Valiev, I was like, this is just about the most underrated guy in the UFC. And unfortunately, he's had losses since then that just mean that like he's now a guy that everybody just completely dismisses. And this was a good way. This was a great reminder from him that he's still, he's still got something.
Oh yeah, he's tough.
It's tough.
But I wouldn't say this was too much too soon for Peyton Talbott.
No. Absolutely.
This was just a hard lesson that he needed to learn.
This was a fight he was very capable of winning, and he just didn't have the respect for Barcelos that he should have had.
Yeah.
I think
that's fair.
And like you had a fight you could have won and you didn't show up right, and hopefully that gives you a lesson.
And it's not like he took a lot of damage.
No. Still, So yeah, was a really great fight. I love seeing an old man win. Love seeing Hani Barcelos out there getting the thing done. Yeah. I mean, he's 37 is old. It's not old. He's not like some of these guys out here where it's like 44 or something.
It's old for bantamweight.
It's very old for bantamweight, and he fights out of a different era.
Yeah. His
game plan is so 2010.
And that's another thing. If you're Peyton Talbott, look at what Merab was doing.
Yeah.
Look at what Umar was doing.
Yeah.
Like, you got to be ready for that if you ever have any kind of aspirations of being up there.
Yeah. So it should be a learning moment where if you're letting this guy get out ahead of you and stay ahead of you through work rate, there are other people who can do that a lot better. So fun fight, love to see it, and even though I really like Peyton Talbott as a prospect, I don't even mind seeing him take this loss. This is a good solid fight and a good solid learning moment. He
even hit that nasty ass trip in the third.
Yeah,
that was sweet.
Yeah, that somebody asked. Nick is asking, did you yell as loud as
I did? I was pleasantly surprised.
That was great.
Because I kind of was getting the feeling like, oh shit, Barcelos is slowing down. Could this be a crazy comeback? But no.
Like Talbot, he doesn't panic. So he is, you do have to constantly stay on him and put him away. He will not. If you give him time and space and room, he will just go right back to doing his thing.
I love seeing it.
Yeah. It's a good game. And I don't think he's going to be dissuaded by this loss. I don't think he's going to feel like, oh, I'm not good enough. I get the feeling he'll come out of this being like, I made mistakes. I overlooked this guy. I can fix that.
Spent a little too much time breaking into oil refineries.
That's right.
Not enough takedown defense.
All right, that brings us to a middleweight bout. Azamat Becev, Zach Reese, and I'll admit it, I did not think Becev was very hot shit going into this.
Really?
I thought he was really overrated.
You picked Reese.
I did.
Wow.
Becev, if you look at his record and you really look at it, it's stoppages over a bunch of really bad competition, and then it's tough fights over anybody decent. And his game doesn't look as controlling. He starts out like a real house on fire, and then he kind of runs out of ideas, and he doesn't control people all that well. He's also pretty small for a middleweight.
I mean, Zach Reese can also run out of ideas, but he runs out of gas.
Yeah, Reese can too. But my feeling was like he's huge and he's dangerous. I'm taking the chance that Becev is a 5'11" middleweight is going to go out there and just not be able to hold this guy down.
Honestly, I just don't trust Reese's ground game.
No, that's fair. He's Paul Craig 1.5.
I mean,
or 0.5.
He's like the striking version of Paul Craig.
I mean, he does all the aggressive jiu-jitsu stuff off his back too. He just doesn't do it as well.
He does lazy armbar attempts, getting his arm trapped, leaving it there. No, that's some horrible jujitsu. Terrible jujitsu.
Yeah.
He shouldn't even be going for fucking subs. He should be getting back to his feet. That his guard,
No, yeah.
nah, that ain't it, player. He got him
This
knocked
was
out. That arm
yeah,
bar is what got him
yeah,
knocked out here.
it is. I will say I came out of this way more impressed with Bekoyev. He looked great. This was a solid showing.
I guess we do have to say some of those punches were to the back of the head.
If you've got a guy, I say this all the time, but if you've got a guy who's on top of you, in front of you, you're looking him in the eyes, and he hits you in the back of the head, that's kind of a you problem.
Maybe if they're standing on the ground.
If they're standing, it's definitely a you problem. If they're on the ground and you're face to face, if somebody's in your guard, they shouldn't be able to hit you in the back of the head.
Nah.
You didn't get hit in the back of the head.
He was turning. He was trying to turn away. You got to be in control of your weapons.
Yeah, but you also got to be in position. You got to be not keeping yourself in a position where you're just going to get slammed to shit. Like he was in a position getting slaughtered, and he was turning away at the point that things were already going so far against him that he was entering the dead zone.
I don't think you get a free pass on punches to the back of the head. Like, I'm fine. Like, I don't think it should be overturned or anything remotely close. I don't think the fight should have been stopped because of that or a DQ or nothing like that.
Well,
but I think they definitely helped the brutality of that knockout.
The ref helped the brutality of that knockout.
I think the ref
went in there. Yeah, the ref went in there and choke slammed him to the mat. Like
he truck sticked him.
He did. Like, I'm sorry, but I was in my live chat over on Substack, and I was just all caps like, tackle the winner, not the loser. Tackle the winner, not if you're a ref, you need to stop the winner from hurting the guy that is getting hurt. You do not need to tackle the guy getting hurt. What the hell the ref was doing tackling Zach Reese there? It's like, what the fuck? He's not the one throwing the punches, dude. He's knocked out. You don't need to tackle him.
That ref needs to go to Thailand and train with those referees, because he would have put the hand behind the head and gently set him down.
It is actually just a general difference in MMA between other combat sports, though. In other combat sports, you totally go to the loser and you protect them because there's not so many opportunities for different things to be happening that you generally have to worry about your opponent not knowing the winner, not knowing what's going on. But MMA is very much somebody's on the ground pummeling somebody, you have to pull them off. You have to focus on the guy doing the damage. Because if you go in and you try to just catch the other guy, that guy who's on top, they'll follow them down. Like,
you're going to just be holding them for it. You're jumping them at that point.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, rough night for old Reese.
It was a very rough night for him. I feel bad for him.
Yeah, he was out for a while.
Yeah. No, that was bad. That was a bad knockout. And
Grant Dawson, take note.
Yeah.
This is what you do. This is ground and pound.
Yeah. Great win for Bekoyev. I think, honestly, the best of his career. Even if Zach Reese is not a great fighter, it's better than any of his other wins.
And honestly, I really loved the way, like, Reese was looking strong right away on the feet. Like, oh shit, this guy might be in trouble. So he actually ate a knee to get to the single leg.
Yeah.
And then he ate an elbow to finish the single leg. Like, good on him. Like, he withstood some fire to get to where he had to go.
I think they should do something like Bekoyev versus Stoltzfus, maybe, or Bekoyev versus Gore. Just any fight. Get him in there with
anybody.
Any other bottom of the rung middleweight. Let him continue showing his stuff, testing it out. All right. That brings us to a light heavyweight bout. Bogdan Guskov versus Billy Elana. And, man, it didn't show up on tape in the past. Elana has been a light heavyweight for most of his career. Pretty much all of his recent fights have been at light heavyweight. And he's not, he's like says he's 6'2" or whatever, so he's not tiny, but he really, really did look a whole weight class smaller than Guskov for this one.
He did. But I thought what a valiant effort.
Oh yeah. I mean, he knew what the task was coming in on short notice. It's just like, I don't have the right answers for this. I'm not the right size for this. Just go out there, put it all on the line, make something wild happen. And when that didn't work out, he got slaughtered.
No, his last fights were at middleweight.
Were they?
Yeah.
Looking.
All of them.
What am I seeing then? Because I'm looking
I don't know.
Tapology here.
Every single one of them.
And Tapology says...
Oh, wait.
His fight with Juriel Simmons was at light heavyweight. His fight with Chuck Campbell was at light heavyweight.
I scrolled down a little too far.
His fight with Tristan Overvig was at light heavyweight.
He was earlier, like way earlier.
Okay. So, I was not in fact wrong.
No.
Okay, thank you. Yeah.
UFC's a different beast, though.
UFC's a different beast, and I don't want to get off on a gripe here. It didn't ultimately make a difference unless you bet Guskov by TKO, but there was what the fuck was the ref doing in this fight? Like, Elana had like 30 seconds at the end of this fight where he was just clearly done. Wasn't getting up, wasn't swinging back. He was smiling at Guskov, but he was not fighting at all. Any other combat sport, that's an automatic, like, TKO. You're done. You're not fighting. You're not getting up. You're not responding.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
It's timidity.
Yeah. And MMA refs have this stupid thing that's just like, oh, no. Because the sport is a sandbox, there's always a chance something else could happen. It's like, he's not fucking fighting. Stop the fight.
Yeah. It was actually after because all right, so Elana was pinned up against the fence standing, right? Guskov teeing off. And there would be moments where he would fire back some counters. But the second Guskov went to the body, all that was done. He buckled, he's on one knee. Like a sparring match, you get hit too hard, you take a knee.
Yeah.
That's what that was. So the ref probably should have jumped in right there. Yeah,
and then he's just like, he's smiling at Guskov and waving him on through his arms, but he's just not fighting. Like,
yeah,
I have seen I've seen terrible boxing decisions where referees go in and a guy is like slipping punches and dodging and ducking and all this stuff, but he's not throwing at all. And the ref will jump in and be like, you're done.
Sure.
You're not fighting back. You're done.
But I mean, it's not so much that he's not fighting. It's you're not intelligently defending yourself.
Yeah. I mean, Guskov didn't know what to do with the high guard for like 2 minutes. He spent 2 minutes just like looking at Elana because his hands were up like, how do I attack this? And then he finally was like, oh, wait, the body. And then it worked.
Yeah.
But it wasn't even bad. It wasn't he just wasn't responsive at all. A ref should be stepping in right there. Guskov didn't need to just jump on him and choke him.
I'm just glad he didn't blast an illegal knee because it looked like he really wanted to.
Yeah. He really did. I mean, Elana was baiting it hard. Was like, hey, I'm right here. Come on. Knee just needs to come up this far for me to be done and for me to get the DQ win.
He overproduced, though. Mm-hmm. Taking it back for as long as he did.
Yeah.
I even gave him the first round out of pity.
Sure. You didn't deserve it. But, yeah.
Right. Out of pity. For showing up. Short notice like he did. But he almost got strangled at the end of that first.
Oh, yeah.
And he ate some hard ground and pound.
Yeah. He'll be a much more interesting fighter down at middleweight.
Best part of the whole fucking fight. When Elana had the back, Guskov went to go punch him, and he punched himself right in the face. Yes.
Classic Tyson Fury move.
Yeah. Kaboom.
All right. So, solid win in the end of the day for Guskov, although his grappling is still terrible. And any opponent that sees, he's just lucky middleweight doesn't have any grapplers, because or light heavyweight doesn't have any grapplers, rather, because any light heavyweight worth his salt that sees this and his fight with Ryan Spahn should be like, wow, anybody can take this guy down and get his back in a heartbeat.
Yeah, no.
But
where's old Anthony Smith?
stick him in there with Dominic Reyes. That's
sure.
That's the right fight. All right. That brings us to Grant Dawson, Carlos Diego Ferreira. And, it was a better win than I thought it would be for Dawson, in that he just got in control and stayed in control, and that Ferreira really didn't find any way to fight his way back into the fight. And I'll give Dawson credit. I know you hate to hear it, but that point where he held Ferreira's foot up and punted him in the head,
twice,
that was sick as hell.
That was sick. And he was throwing spinning kicks to start the fight. Awesome, flashy. I thought that was great. He was off to a fantastic start.
Yeah.
But then he reverted to his old ways, went full blanket. It's like, man, you should have this guy out of here.
Yeah. So
it's depressing. The dude's 40. On his 40th birthday, you should have smashed him.
Yeah. So he got the win, and then he had a call out ready. He called out Beneil Dariush. And, I think it was a smart idea. I think he could easily get that fight if the UFC just wants to, if Dariush just wants to fight and doesn't care who. Dariush seems like that kind of guy, and the UFC is willing to give him the booking. It could happen. Otherwise, feed Dawson to somebody like Joel Alvarez or something.
Yeah, there you go. Yes. Yes,
yeah.
The punishment fight.
Yeah, a punishment fight. Like, just throw him at any really violent lightweight, big violent lightweight you can. That's really what I want to see done with Grant Dawson.
Yeah, I'm gonna enjoy it. I hate to say it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he seems like a cool dude. Like, the person.
Oh yeah, it's fine.
Guy.
Sure.
The blanket style just really pisses me off. He's in that Batista category.
I mean, he deserves it way more than Batista.
Yeah, but he's never done it to anyone that
you love. Yeah,
that is near and dear to
none
my
of your
heart.
homies.
Yeah,
but yeah, do Dawson versus Alvarez, or I don't know, whatever. Something. But Dawson versus Benoit Saint-Denis or something. I don't know.
He does need some better competition, though.
Yeah. He should be thrown in borderline top 15 fights. Like, he's 30 years old. He's been doing this thing for 10 years now. This is the fighter he is. He's either going to be good enough to make a run or he's not. Like, it's not going to be like, it's not some secret next tier of Grant Dawson waiting to emerge.
And he's been fighting on the same plateau. And then it was Bobby Green who pantsed him.
Yeah.
And then he's back on that same plateau.
Yeah. So, all right. That brings us to a women's bantamweight fight. Eileen Perez, Carol Hosa. And I know this was painful for a lot of MMA fans out there who just don't like Eileen Perez because she likes to have fun and twerk or something. I don't know why people don't like her. This was a fight for me. This is a fight between two women I actually enjoy watching fight.
Sure.
Hosa is when she's on, she's a busy, like, combination heavy striker who knows how to attack all levels. And Perez is pretty much the only woman in the bantamweight division, maybe like one of 3 women in the bantamweight division right now, who actually know exactly what kind of fight they want to have every time they step in the octagon. She goes out there and she's like, I'm going to throw some big wild shots. I'm going to clinch you up and I'm going to take you down and I'm going to get on top and I'm going to land ground and pound I'm going to try to get to mount and land ground and pound. That's the whole game. There's never a secret about it.
Yeah.
And for so many women at bantamweight, it's just this sort of aimless generalist. Oh, maybe we'll clinch. Maybe we'll do some kickboxing. Maybe I'll hold you against the cage. And yeah, it's just no fun. So I have a soft spot for Perez. She is always she's the Betch Correia 2.0. You know,
She's better than Betch Correia, but yeah.
well, that's the 2.0. That's the next model. You know, you're advancing a model.
Sure.
So
yeah, I mean, this fight was frustrating for Hosa. She clearly could have won this fight and should have won this fight, but she just doesn't fight to her potential.
No, she got somewhere in the middle of her career. She got lost, and I'm not really. I think it was the Sarah McMahon fight that did it. McMahon just like tying her up and taking her down and sucking the life out. She got really worried about that happening again. And I thought she'd refound the spark against Aldana and Kian Zod. Those were both really good, fun, fast-paced fights. But this was more just like, you don't need to, like, why are you not just putting it on this person? You have such a big step on them striking. And
she was eating up those legs.
Yeah.
She really should have won this fight.
Yep.
She's got nobody to blame but herself.
Yep. So I'm happy to see Perez win, though. I hope she twerks her way to the top, you know?
Sure. Why not? She's out there having fun.
And she knows how she wants to fight. It's, you know, if Hosa is out there being like, man, it's like where you're like, man, if only you knew what you wanted to do, you could do it. Perez is like, man, you can't do it, but you know exactly what you want to do. You know, I'd much rather that. It's so much harder to teach that kind of like single-minded aggression than it is to teach the skill.
Yeah, that's probably fair.
You know, you can drill somebody through technique. You can't really drill mentality.
Yeah, that's the dog.
Yeah. All right. That brings us to a bantamweight bout. Well, actually, I suppose we should. There's probably a ranked women's bantamweight fight for her now because that division is so tiny that she's got to be.
She's top 10 now.
Yeah, she's got to be top 10. Carol Hosa was ranked 9. So, yeah, do Perez versus Yana Santos or Perez versus Misha Tate. Book it. Get it done.
Hard to see Misha fighting.
Yeah, I know. I just don't care.
Yeah, I don't care who Perez fights. Anybody.
Yeah. Yana Santos, that'd be the right fight. Make it happen. It's a fight she could win. All right. That brings us to a bantamweight bout and a true fraud check. Muin Gafarov, Rinya Nakamura. And I will say, I went into this saying to myself, I do think this is the top end of what Nakamura is ready for right now. I don't think he's a lot better than this fight right now. He has the potential to beat.
Right.
And I picked him to beat Gafarov. But it's like, I bet this fight's going to be close and tough. And I don't think if you put somebody better than Gafarov in there, I don't think Nakamura could beat him. And Gafarov just schooled him.
No, Nakamura ran into a buzzsaw.
Yeah.
He got knocked down like 4 times.
And it's the Japanese MMA fighter going to UFC curse continues, where the training these kids are getting, it does not set them up well for international success. It is not a blending of styles. It is not an easy, like, oh, I can do all things and put them all together in a natural way. It's still like I have to pull a lever to switch gears. Yeah. I'm striking. Okay, I need to wrestle. I have to pull the wrestling lever. And, like, Nakamura, you know, if he wrestled for every second of this, a world class wrestler. He should be able to wrestle for 15 minutes with Muin Gafarov.
And that's what I thought was going to happen. I thought he was going to wrestle and tire him out and maybe even get a submission.
Yeah, same. Like I said, I still think it would have been the top end of what he's capable of because he has so little offensive potency to his game. Where it's just like, somebody wild like Gafarov, you can take him out. You can put him on his heels. You can put him on his back, all that. But you put him in there against somebody like Montel Jackson or something like that. Yeah, I'm not picking Rinya Nakamura.
He got exposed.
And he got exposed. He got MMA pilled. He wanted to go out there and show off his hands as a wrestler, and he didn't have hands.
Didn't have hands, didn't have defense.
No.
He had one moment in this fight, and that was that guillotine attempt. And he squeezed for all it was worth. But it wasn't even close.
No. He was, and he showed like the quality that's there, the potential. You could see it the moment that Gafarov went in and tried to shoot on him.
Oh, that was gorgeous.
Yeah. Nakamura is just like, I can spin you right around on your ass and jump on a submission in a heartbeat. But he didn't turn that on himself.
Which is weird, right? Like, why?
If I could tell you why Japanese MMA prospects don't show their potential in the UFC, then I would be coaching Japanese MMA prospects to be better in the UFC. I don't know what it is. I don't know what part of the secret sauce they lack, but
no, I think you said it. It's the phase shifting.
Yeah, it's just not a big part of their their camp structure over there. Still, I don't know. Great win for Gafarov, though. Fantastic for him. I love watching him fight. I love watching him succeed. He is a wild man. Like, he doesn't have a lot of
buzzsaw.
Yeah, he doesn't have a lot of defense in his game, but if he's winning fights, every one of those fights is going to be fun.
Yeah.
Let's see. Doesn't really matter who he fights, I know, but like, get him in there with like Davey Grant.
That'd be a fucking fun ass scrap. That'd be a trash fire in the best kind of ways.
Yeah. Get him in there with Davey Grant. Get him in there with Charles Jourdain.
No, they're just wild, unpredictable, chaotic, Tasmanian devil swirling.
Yeah.
I'm here for it.
That's the kind of stuff he should be doing. So, all right. That brings us to a bantamweight bout. Bernardo Sopai, Ricky Tercios. And I love these judges. My hat is off to them. Good job, all of you. Oh, also, it has to be said that the judge that gave Eileen Perez a 30-27 needs to be dragged by horses until they die.
Fair. Yeah.
I don't know.
It's I wonder if it was the same one that gave Merab 4 rounds.
Let's see.
It might have been.
Dvalishvili, Moicano, card, UFC. Let's see if I can pull it up. Score.
Umar.
Come on.
You can maybe make an argument that second round was tight, but I can't see.
It was the first round that I think. Let's see.
He got rocked in the first round.
The judge that gave Merab Dvalishvili round 1 is the same judge that gave Eileen Perez round 3.
How the fuck did I know this?
His name is Chris Crail. Doesn't even sound like a real name.
Is that like Chris Lieben moonlighting?
Yeah.
Like a pen name? A surname? A pseudonym?
That is absolutely on him. But yeah, I love the judges that judged Sopai Tercios because they had every chance to get caught up in Tercios's volume over potency bullshit, and they did not.
No, yeah. Sopai won every round, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, on the damage scale, he won every round.
And I'm really impressed with how he was able to fight tired.
Yeah.
In that third round, sucking wind, visibly tired, but still making the right decisions.
Yep.
I thought it was brilliant. Not easy to do, especially against Tercios, who's got that Marab in him, you know what I mean? Just that crazy motor. Like, I'm just coming at you nonstop. And he really addressed it really well.
Yep. Great win for Sopai.
I liked what I saw out of him.
That finally brings us to Tagir Ulanbeckov, Clayton Carpenter, and this was just, if I think that Peyton Talbott, Hani Barcelos was a really well-booked fight for a prospect, Ulanbeckov Carpenter was a terrible booking for a prospect. Carpenter did not need to go fight Tagir Ulanbeckov. He was not ready. He was not close to ready. He lost on the earliest prelims of a UFC card against somebody that nobody cares about. It will get him absolutely nothing out of losing this fight, except hopefully the understanding that there's a whole level to this that he has not considered yet.
I mean, I'm fine with the booking. Isn't Ulanbeckov coming off a long layoff?
I don't care what he's coming off. He's just way better than Clayton Carpenter. Yeah, he hadn't fought since 2023. He was coming off a year layoff.
I think Carpenter fought hard and fought decently well.
He's a good prospect. That's why I don't think he should have been fed to this. Like, this is a fight he just wasn't ready for, and he just
And he can really. I mean, the levels became apparent once either got a takedown. When Ulanbeckov gotten taken down, right away he's working to get up.
Yep.
Carpenter, he's doing rubber guard.
Yeah.
Trying to throw up submissions.
Yeah.
Nah, dude, you got to get the fuck up.
There's a lot of bullshit in his game that is just made to work on a lower level where his physicality could get him through. And this is, a huge step. He was fighting the worst flyweights in the world that the UFC had to offer. And now he's fighting a guy who's, borderline top 15 or top 10.
I like the stylistic matchup, like two solid grapplers.
There was a path to victory there for Carpenter. Ulanbeckov is really bad off his back foot. And Carpenter, if he'd been able to just keep pressure on, keep going after him.
Keep attacking the leg.
It was all there, but he's just not experienced enough at all. So,
man, Ulanbeckov hit that nasty ass. He fake stand up to guard pass. That was tight.
Yeah.
That was fucking sweet. That was some slick shit.
Yep. Good fight for Ulanbeckov. Good showcase for him. For Carpenter, hopefully a learning moment. Definitely I won't even say it's a fraud check in the way that Gafarov Nakamura was.
No, this is too much too soon.
This is just too much too soon. Nakamura Gafarov, that was a fight that Nakamura should have been able to win, but he just clearly was not even in the ballpark of prepared. This is a fight that most people did not think Clayton Carpenter was prepared for.
And I don't even think it wasn't that Nakamura wasn't prepared. I think he had a shit game plan. I legit think he wanted to just go out there and strike and play with his new toys. And got pants because of it.
Well, that's unprepared too, then. Either way, if I'm Nakamura, I'm going back home and I'm looking at all my coaches and thinking about where I can go next, where I don't have to deal with these coaches anymore. Because somebody lied to him.
No, he needs to go to any other country.
Yeah. He'll end up over at Team Alpha Male learning his striking there, because that's where all the Japanese prospects go.
It's true. He should go to Killcliff FC.
He should. Hoof to make a man out of him.
Yeah, I'm not even kidding there. That's probably the best place he could possibly go.
His striking game is so raw at this point that he would not have to suffer a lot from Hoof's "I'm going to tear you down to build you up" process that he puts people through. So, no, yeah, I think it's, or if not that, I'd love to see him someplace like King's MMA or someplace like that that's really just going to put the idea of pace and pressure in his head. Even if they got to teach him really technical striking, at least get him on the front foot, get him in there Marvin Vettori style, going after people and not backing down from them.
Honestly, yeah, get some of that Dariush phase shifting.
Exactly.
That wouldn't be bad either.
All right. On that note, we have a little bit of bonus content coming to y'all. For those of you that are subscribers, you can find it on our Substack. Link down below. Help us out. Become a subscriber. Help keep the show going. And for the rest of y'all, you can find me on Twitter at the Zane Simon. You can find Eddie on Twitter at the Eddie Mercado. You can find both of us over on that's the only place you can find both of us. I forgot. You can find me on Blue Sky at Zane Simon. You can find me on Substack at zanesimon.substack.com. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in.
Oh, wait, you can find me commentating the Brawlers Ball next weekend, next Saturday, Portsmouth, Virginia, at the Rivers Casino. If you're in town for whatever reason, come check it out. Quentin Rampage Jackson will be in the building. Come ask him what he thought of Kevin Holland's performance.
Yes.
See you there.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Adios.